Greetings, all. I am StrawhatOtakuDrew, and I hate my computer. Still, I know y'all hear this pretty much every week, but my computer sucks. I came to stream, and it just has been frozen for over an hour. Couldn't get it to do anything. It started to try and do things a couple times, but it decided, nah. So ultimately, had to restart the computer and load everything up again. That takes time, of course. So, yeah, that's why we're starting so late again. I've been at this so long, I already finished my drink, and now my mouth and throat are dry again. It's one of those days. Anyways, we're here. Let's have some fun. We've got a One Piece episode to watch. Episode 1102. So let's get that loaded up. Okay. Seems to be running all right. Sorry. Too far. Still too far. Still too far. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, there we go. Sinister schemes. The operation to escape Egghead. Kuma. Interesting. Shite. Good God. Dude, that was brutal. There it is. Okay. Well, that was a good episode. I really liked that one. Getting to see more of the stuff with Kuma. That was brutal the way he just slammed into the grand line or the red line and falls like hundreds of feet, crashing through the top of the building. Then just casually sits up, stands, and looks up at the red line. Like, how dare you be in my way? All right. Yeah. So the rest of the episode, building up for what's to come, doing it quite well. I'm pleased, and as always, I look forward to more. So now that we got that out of the way, how about we check out chapter 1113? Interesting 2-page color spread. What the hell am I looking at here? Oh, okay. I get it. Everybody as chess pieces. Zoro and Sanji are the knights. Jinbei is a rook. I can't tell if Frankie is the other rook or if he's supposed to be a bishop because it looks like there's another rook looking piece next to Frankie. But at the same time, we've got Brooke as a bishop looking very different from the way Frankie does. So I can't really say with that. Oh wait, no, Usopp is a bishop also. So Frankie has to be a rook. So why does it look like there's another castle-shaped piece next to Frankie? Behind Sanji's horse. And a shitload of choppers for the pawns. Chopper's a pawn. That's poor Chopper. Of course, Nami is the queen. Luffy is the king. We've got Robin playing the game. The king is the fighting piece. Okay. Nicely done color spread, though. Reader request. Straw Hats as chess pieces with Robin as the player. I I really think some of these reader requests are just shit that Oda Sensei wants to draw, but he doesn't want it to be a canon image or anything. So he uses the excuse of a reader request because some of these are just such weird requests. I mean, who the hell would think of that? The Straw Hats as chess pieces with Robin as the player. Who would think of that? The man who loves Yamato, apparently. I don't know. Anyways, on through the chapter. Stalemate. Hmm. Wow. Oh, my eyes are burning. And he's a ship now. Okay. What the? Nobody's playing. My computer decided to just randomly open Steam and ask me who's playing. Ugh. I hate my computer. I really do. Please help me. Please help me set aside the money to get a new one. Hit up my Patreon, one time donation, membership, whatever. Just help, please. I want to do better for you guys. No one person can do it all by himself. I need help. Confirmation of the dead man switch. Yeah, that's a. Yep, that is absolutely Morgan's. Okay, yeah. Well, huh. Uh, that. Let's start from the beginning and try and run this down. So we start pretty much where we left off last time. The Itsumare guy, Mars, I think, staring up at something, which I didn't notice before, but I heard other people talk about it in their videos. What he is staring up at is punk records. I heard all sorts of theories of what he might be staring up at. Something on the ceiling, some kind of defense mechanism or something. All sorts of shit. No, he's staring up at Vegapunk's head, the top of Vegapunk's head, which is several stories tall now. And I don't think it is what anybody expected for punk records. Not like this. We all knew punk records was Vegapunk's brain. That has been solidified as canon for a long time now, over a year. But I don't think any of us expected it to still be inside the top of his head. I know I personally was expecting the brain to have been extracted and just be a massive brain in like a warehouse sized tank with like electrodes and shit connected to it. It, but no, it is still inside of the top of Vegapunk's head, which is. Did anybody see this coming? Anybody? Tell me, guys. Did anyone expect punk records to be this, just the top of Vegapunk's head? Or were you expecting what I was expecting? Like I said, a massive brain in a tank the size of like a warehouse with all sorts of electrodes and shit plugged directly into the brain. What were you expecting? I want to know. Then we go around the world and check in with everybody to see who all set up to receive the video transmission because there's only seconds left. We see Kaya and Usopp's kid friends sitting around a normal transponder snail. We see Marines talking about transmission should be starting any moment. We see Crocus and Laboon sitting there listening to a regular snail. Baltimore, Torino Kingdom, Hachinosu, that one it doesn't identify, and I can't quite place it. So, anyways, we cut back to Itsunade guy, and we see him stepping on the shell of the snail we saw at the end of the last chapter. And The outer shell breaks away, and underneath we've just got a normal dendamushi. And he gets all pissed and butthurt about decoys and turns back into the Itzumate and flies off, breaking through out of the Punk Records area. He communicates with the others telepathically. And they decide that they can't risk destroying the entire island because there'd be no way to create more of the mother flame. Where was that? What's that part? Oh, okay. It's all the way back here on the last page. What happens if we destroy the power plant? Don't. We can't afford to lose. We can't afford the loss of all. We can afford the loss of all the ships and sailors surrounding the island, but no one will be able to create the mother flame anymore. So, first and foremost, they have officially changed it from Mother Frame, as it first appeared in the official translation, to Mother Flame. Good to know. And second, they clearly still want the Mother Flame so much as to be unwilling to destroy the island, to destroy the power plant, and let everything else be destroyed with it in order to just stop this transmission. So at this point, possession of the Mother Flame, being able to recreate the Mother Flame, is more important to the Gorosei than whatever Vegapunk is about to announce to the world. So, that what that says to me is that either they don't think he has any information that could be particularly damning to them, or they don't think people will listen to whatever information he has. Either way, they don't expect much, if any, repercussions from his big announcement. At least not to the point that it is worth destroying their only way to get the Mother Flame. So that says something about their expectations right there. That tells us that they don't expect the revelation of any particularly damning secrets about the world government. So, like, for example, they don't expect Eames' existence to be revealed to the world by this. And I've made it clear all along that I don't either. I don't think Vegapunk is aware of Eam. We have seen no indication that he is. Sorry. They the Gorosei actually seem to be jumping to the same conclusion that the fandom has at large. That Vegapunk is going to carry on what Clover started. But as I've said before, Clover wasn't addressing the world. The O'Hara incident was not getting broadcast worldwide. The only call being made there was from the CP9 asshole, Spandam's dad, to the Gorosei. So the Gorosei could hear what was being said there. So Clover wasn't trying to reveal anything to the world. He knew he was going to die, and he wanted to find out if the conclusions he had drawn were correct before he died. That was it. That was it. He already knew he was screwed. The rest of the scholars of O'Hara were screwed. Anything he said here was not getting out to the public because the only people there other than the people of O'Hara were the Marines that were about to kill them. So he knew. Yeah. So yeah, he just wanted to test by the reaction of the Gorosei how much truth there was to the conclusions he had drawn from their research. That's it. That's all Clover was doing. He just laid it all out on the table. That's why the reaction of the Gorosei is so interesting at O'Hara, because the only people that were going to hear that information is their people, the Marines. So they want the information about the ancient kingdom suppressed, not just from the public, but from their own people, from their own military. They don't want their people to know about it. I honestly think that it's an even bigger deal to them to keep it secret from the Marines than it is to the public, because as I've explained before, average person hears about shit that here happened 800 years ago. Well, damn, that's kind of some fucked up shit. But what does it matter? It was 800 years ago. All those people are dead now. And because of people having the innate desire to believe those in authority above them are good, they'll just write it off in their heads as, well, that was some fucked up shit that happened 8 centuries ago, but those people are all dead, and the people in charge now aren't anything like that. They do good things all the time. They protect us from pirates. They have the Marines that help people, yada, yada, yada. That's going to be how the average person would look at it. So I believe that there is something that the Marines would know that the average public does not, that gives a different context to the information. Maybe the Marines are aware that the Gorosei are immortal and we're the ones directly responsible for this stuff. I don't know, but I feel like it would have that this revelation would have a different context to the Marines than it would to the general public. And that's why the Gorosei did not want the Marines present at Ohara to hear the information. But so yeah, that here that's what the Gorosei immediately go to also. Well, wait a minute. York said that Vegapunk has been carrying on the research of O'Hara. Well, damn, he must be intending to announce to the world all of that shit. Notice they don't particularly spaz at that point. They look kind of annoyed, but they're not really losing their shit. So then we cut back to the group outside the Frontier Dome. Sanji shows up and helps Bonnie. Sanji kicks the shit out of horse guy, it looks like. And then gets bitten by the horse. Chomped on pretty good, actually. And spat out halfway across the island almost, it looks like. At least in that panel, the way it's spitting him out. Bonnie turns giant with distorted future to try and fight, helping Oimo and Kashi, who are trying to restrain the horse person. Venus Juro, I think that one is, pretty sure. Oimo and Kashi are trying to restrain him, which I feel like Oimo and Kashi are not big enough characters. The Giants, but that's not the big I'm talking about. They are not important enough characters to be able to manhandle one Orosei and live to talk about it. So I think after putting hands on Venus Juro like this, one or both of them are screwed. Bonnie is an important enough character to get away with manhandling a Gorosei. So the fact that she jumped in and attacked does not put a death flag on her. She's already got a few, but I don't think Oda Sensei is going to go that route and end up killing Bonnie off. So, meanwhile, the broadcast is going on, and we're getting voiceover bubbles of what Vegapunk is saying on there. And he has explained about the dead man switch. I've set this up so it will only broadcast when my heart stops, regardless of whether I'm arrested or killed or whatever. And we cut to reactions around the world, various people losing their shit at the thought that Vegapunk is dead. including Caesar Clown and um, I forget dude's name, the one that Sanji kicked his face so much that it made him change, that used to look like Sanji's horrible hand drawn wanted poster. And we got fucking big news Morgan's here talking about, wait, you can't just give away the story like that. How am I going to sell my papers? Then we cut over to Saturn coming up on the group inside the Frontier Dome, basically telling them, I ain't got time for you trash. I got something to do. So he just blazes right past and apparently is making a beeline for Robin, which I find interesting. And talking about how you're the one that Sakazuki lets slip between his fingers. The Akainu lets slip between his fingers. The man is soft. Who the fuck ever called Akainu soft? That just, no. Even now, being the lapdog of the Gorosei and the Tenryubito in general, catering to their every whim, stuck at a desk and all that, the man is not soft. When Kuma came through, which we're probably going to see within the next few episodes in the anime, Akainu didn't hesitate, or well, Sakazuki, because he's not the admiral anymore. He wasn't admiral at Ohara yet either, so he wouldn't have been Akainu then. What the fuck? Okay, I'm confused. He is not Akainu now because he has been promoted from admiral to fleet admiral. So at this point, he's just using his regular name, Sakazuki. He was not admiral at Ohara. He was vice admiral. So he would not yet have gotten his admiral name. So at that point, he would have been Vice Admiral Sakazuki. Why is he calling him Akainu here? I don't know. Anybody thoughts on that one? But anyways, so yeah, Saturn talking about how soft Akainu is. Robin recognizes him as one of the Gorosei. Robin is awake. Finally. So I'm curious why Saturn is balls to the wall rushing at Robin. I mean, yeah, she has information that might end up a little damning to the world government. Information about the ancient kingdom and the underhanded shit that started the world government. And she knows where the ancient weapon is, well, ancient weapon Pluton, because the Gorosei have no way to know that she's told the entire crew at this point. But there's something she knows that is very important to the Gorosei. I don't believe she knows about Im. I'm sure she has heard the name Nerona Im. I mean, if think of how fucked up that would be if Emporio Ivankov knew the name Nerona Im as one of the 20 founders, and Robin, the historian, last child of O'Hara, the biggest group of scholars and historians and archaeologists in the world, and she doesn't know it? Yeah, no. She's heard that name. She knows the name Nerona Im, but she has not yet learned about the existence of Im, who sits on the empty throne and is able to treat even the Gorosei like his little bitches. So, yeah, she's never made that connection. So, then, but at the same time, as I've said, the information about the ancient kingdom, the name of the ancient kingdom, the rise of the world government, the shit from 800 years ago is not really by itself going to cause such a fuss among the average person. So either she has some other information about what the world government and the people currently running the world government have done, or it's just the fact that she represents one of their biggest oversteps. And she could tell the world they're worried not about the historical information she has, but they are worried about the recent information that will show the world how ruthless the current leaders are. Ruthless enough to wipe out an entire kingdom for no other reason than they studied history, to show that they are such horrible people as to literally demonize a little girl, spread lies about her, and all of that. So this poor child had to spend her entire life looking over her shoulder, afraid, unable to trust anybody. That kind of shit is going to upset the average person a lot more than oh, 800 years ago, the people that started the government did some shady shit. Okay, and that was 800 years ago. Who cares? Those people did. People like that aren't running shit. People now are good. So yeah, who cares? That's it right there. So that's it's not because of any information Robin has about the ancient kingdom, but rather because she is evidence of the evil shit the current regime is doing. That's my thought. Nami and everybody see Saturn going after Robin and just nope. Protect Robin. Let's help her. And they all jump into the fray with Saturn, which I gotta say, Chopper, yeah, Brooke, yeah, Usopp, even, sure. Because when he's pressed, when he's in a corner, he will stand the fuck up for himself, for his crew, his friends, his nakama. But Nami, not just yanking Robin out of the way, but fighting. Agorose. I'm impressed. So York's still trying to figure out where the special transponder snail is, which I I admit I was wrong last week. I expected that the Dendemushi in front of Itsumare guy was going to be an actual one as York described, but I figured that there would be several more scattered around the island. Redundancy. But I was wrong. It was not a real one. It was just a decoy, just a normal Dendemushi. So, all right. To the people who got it right, I tip my hat to you. Um, so now Itsumare guy is flying around looking for the special Dendemushi, bitching about there are too many snails in the lab. None of them seem to have unique signals. Ooh, what if there isn't a special one? What if the Vegapunks, other than York, are able to do this because of just the sheer number of Dendemushi they have on the island, and they conspired together, or at least the ones that are they're recording this transmission, conspired in order to upload false information about how the transmission was being sent into Punk Record. Because York knows or knows what to look for with this Dendemushi because she connected to Punk Records and got the information from there. But and she hadn't connected for a while. So let's say, as a lot of people pointed out, the Stella was wearing the same clothes in the broadcast as he was in the present when he died. So, what if they just recorded this shit the night before, after all of the other shit went down? York was discovered as the traitor and all of that. So they knew it was her. That she didn't know anything about this failsafe, about the dead man switch or any of that, the broadcast, yada yada yada. So after everything went down, Vegapunk cleans himself up, changes his clothes and everything because he was wearing different clothes the previous day. And decides this shit may not turn out the way I hope it will. So I need a backup plan just in case. And they sit down to record this message. And knowing that York is the traitor at that point, since in this hypothetical situation, this is being recorded after York has been discovered as the traitor. Knowing that she's the traitor and is able to connect to Punk Records, they intentionally record incorrect information in Punk Records. That way, York connecting to Punk Records will not give her the actual information of how the broadcast would be stopped. And if it was last minute like that, that would also explain why the transmission is not sourced through other locations, because Vegapunk just didn't have a fucking chance to get to other islands, to Punk Hazard, to Baltimore, to Dragon at Kamabaka Kingdom, or any of that shit. He didn't have a chance to get to other locations to set up redundant transmitters to ensure the full broadcast would be able to go out. He is limited to setting the shit up on the island. In fact, limited to setting the shit up within the Frontier Dome. Because at that point, the shit had already hit the fan enough that the dome could not come down without them getting their shit fucked up. So if I'm right, then it could be that, okay, it could be that there is a special kind of Dendenmushi hidden away somewhere inside the Frontier Dome, or several of them hidden away inside the Frontier Dome. But at the same time, it could be that it's being done with the normal Dendenmushi and is able to pull off a transmission of this size because of just how many Vegapunk has. Or that could be the redundancy. Vegapunk has studied Dendenmushi, so he's going to have several of them on his island. Maybe it doesn't even need a special Dendenmushi to transmit it. It can be done with a normal Dendenmushi, and it just he's got it set up so every Dendenmushi on the island, or at least every Dendenmushi within the Frontier Dome, is broadcasting it out to the world, and that's the redundancy measure. And then they just falsely put the information in Punk Records that there's a special Dendenmushi that's being used for it. That actually could make sense. Then that fits with what Itamare guy was saying about, well, there are all sorts of Dendenmushi in this lab and don't sense a special signal coming from any of them. That's because there's not a special signal. It's just a regular signal, and it is coming from all of them. So nothing special to sense. I feel like that might be it. And that redundancy of having every Dendenmushi on the fucking island transmitting is Vegapunk's safety measure. That plus the fact that they lied in the information they put in Punk Records just so York would not be able to store or would not be able to retrieve the information from Punk Records. I feel like that's it. And I think even York is starting to get that, because she's talking about, think, York, or you're not going to get to be in Tenryubito. I'm a Vegapunk too. Where would I hide it? So she's starting to think that the information I'm getting from Punk Records isn't reliable. So I have to think like a Vegapunk to figure out what they would do with it. She hasn't quite gotten to, maybe it's a complete lie and there's not a special Dendenmushi. But she has gotten to the point of maybe that information isn't reliable. So I need to think like them in order to find it. So then we're at the last page. Again, it cuts back to the Gorosei talking about we can't destroy the power plant because that would fuck everything up and we'd have no way to get the mother flame. And then after that, we cut to Vegapunk on the recording. To make a long story short, to make a long story short, the world as we know it will sink into the sea. That's not the big reveal. It's not. There's no way. He has to have something more. Because if that's the whole thing, then a lot of fans are going to be pissed. I have not watched anyone's reactions, reviews, thoughts, or anything like that because this is my first time reading the chapter. So I didn't want spoilers. So I ain't looked at that shit. But anyone who thinks this is the big reveal is going to be seriously pissed right now. So there's no way. There's no way this is the big reveal. And think about it. It doesn't even make sense that it is the big reveal because this information did not need the video Dendenmushi to get out. Kaya and the Usopp brats and the people back at Dawn Island and Crocus and everyone else just listening on a regular Dendenmushi got that information every bit as well as the people that have the video Dendenmushi, that it was so important for everyone to get. So this is not the reveal. I still say that the big dump to the world is not going to be anything about the Ancient Kingdom. The Gorosei are on the wrong track. 90% of the fandom are on the wrong track. That ain't it. The Ancient Kingdom is barely going to be mentioned, and there only as it associates to Ohara. It'll be about Ohara, not the Ancient Kingdom, for that segment. But even that, even Ohara and the bullshit the Gorosei did there are not the key piece of information. Because there is no video record of what the Gorosei did at Ohara. That was a standard Dendenmushi that Spandam's dad, Spandex, I don't know, was using to talk to the Gorosei. That was not a video Dendenmushi. So Clover's murder was not recorded on video. Vegapunk wasn't present. And even if it had been a video Dendenmushi, I feel like the Gorosei would not have been recording that anyways. And I doubt that even Vegapunk would be able to record a call that happened but was not actively recorded at the time it happened. I mean, that'd be like trying to wiretap someone's telephone and record a conversation from the day before you put in the wiretap. It doesn't work that way. So I don't think there's any way that there could be a corroborating video record from O'Hara. And obviously, there's no video record of the shady shit the 20 founders did 800 years ago. The only thing that could necessitate a video dendemushi is broadcasting Kuma's memories. That's it. That is the cornerstone of it. And okay, Vegapunk said, I am not talking about good or evil. I'm not even going to use those words. In other words, he's saying, I'm just going to present the information. You draw your own conclusions. So yeah, he's telling them about some evil shit, but he is not telling them this is evil. He's not going to draw the conclusion for them. He's not going to say, oh, this is dirty shit. This shit is dirty. You need to hate it. You need to be enraged. You need to be mad. He is not telling them that. He's telling information. Draw your conclusion. We'll talk about O'Hara. Now, if I am right about this shit was just recorded the night before, after everything went down, and York was outed as a traitor and everything, if I'm right, then the destruction of the Lucia Kingdom has already happened, and the raise in sea level that happened after that would already have been known. Now, I don't know whether Vegapunk is aware specifically that the Lucia Kingdom was destroyed, but at a bare minimum, the rise of sea levels was noticed around the world, and he would have heard about that. And honestly, I can't remember for sure, but I think when I'm going to say it was Shaka talked to Dragon, that was already after the destruction of Lucia. So it is entirely possible that Dragon told Vegapunk, told Shaka, who then could have related to the others, about the destruction of Lucia. And the rise in sea level. So this this whole the world as we know it is going to sink into the sea could be precursor to talking. In fact, it probably is precursor to talking about whatever weapon wiped out Rhodesia and caused sea level to raise. That actually is a good setup because it gives you one fuck of a stinger right up front. Talking about the world's going to sink into the sea. Okay, damn, you got my attention. Let's hear it. You know? So that announcement is not, please do not think that this is the big secret that Vegapunk has been alluding to since the Dead Man transmission started. This ain't it. This is a precursor to talk about the weapon that the world government has, probably the destruction of Venusia, and how it causes sea level to raise. And now the world government is wanting more of the Mother Flame to be able to keep using this weapon, which will keep causing sea level to raise, and hence the world is going to sink as a result. And from that, you'll probably segue into the Ohara incident. The scholars of Ohara wiped out just because of a passion for the study of history, demonized little girl, the last survivor, so on and so forth. And then, finally, you'll get up to the main thing. With all of this that I've just told you, you have only my words. But now, I'm going to show you the actions that the world government have undertaken. I am going to show you the horrible. I'm going to no, not horrible, because he is not judging. He specifically said he is not going to declare evil or good of any of the stuff he discusses. So it is not horrible. And I am going to show you the things that the world government forced me to do to the people I care about. My second sin. Because remember, he said, I have committed 2 sins, and he only named the first of those 2. The second is what he did to his friend. And he is going to show the world that by broadcasting Kuma's memories. That is the big reveal. Because remember, this transmission is not for us, the reader. This transmission is for the citizens of the One Piece world. So, we'll probably glean new information about the Mother Flame, about what weapon it is that Eam used, because Vegapunk probably has inspected this weapon in order to be able to make the Mother Flame to power it. You'll probably glean a little bit of new information with regards to Ohara and maybe even the Ancient Kingdom. I do not think that will include the name of the ancient kingdom, and I don't want it to. That needs to be revealed to us by Robin. But the main crux of the broadcast, it's not going to reveal anything new to us. We know it already. It's Kuma's flashback. So we already know the main event from Vegapunk's Dead Man broadcast. That's for the world, not for the readers. It's the preceding stuff, the stuff about the Mother Flame, the raising sea level, and all of that, and stuff about O'Hara and possibly the ancient kingdom. That's where we will get new information from the broadcast. The parts that do not require taking up panels to show it. The parts that do not require the video Dendemushi for the people in universe. I don't think that's a coincidence either. That way, we can still get the pertinent information to us without Oda Sensei having to take away from the action by dedicating panels to this video. It'll go the same way that it has in this chapter, with just voiceover speech bubbles as we hear the transmission playing while we're watching the action going on. Whereas when it gets to end of the transmission and Vegapunk is broadcasting Kuma's memories, we've seen that already. So we don't need to see that. The audience doesn't need to see that. What the audience needs to see is the current goings on, the fights, and all of that, which I still think are going to be wrapped up in the next couple chapters. Our objective is escape. The redundancies and tricks and traps and whatnot set up to protect the broadcast are going to do their job. Itsumade guy cannot find the source of the transmission and has basically given up. So at this point, we just need to coordinate and nope the fuck out of Egghead. So that's where we are. We're trying to get away. We're not trying to take down the Gorosei here. And this was 1113. 1114, maybe 1115, we'll see the fights wrap up. I had figured before that 1114 would be the actual end of Egghead Island. that we would get off the island in 1114, and then 1115 would be an interim chapter cutting around to various people around the world, reacting to the information they've just learned about their leaders of the world government. But I'm not thinking that now. That I don't think we're going to get that in 1115. We'll probably just get snippets of it, or well, it'll probably be in 1115, maybe even 1114, depending on how much of the broadcast we overhear during the action in 1114. But I don't think there is going to be an interim chapter. This arc will end in 1115, and 1116 we're going to reach Elbaf. I don't expect an interim chapter anymore. But so yeah, there we have it. That was the chapter, and a good one it was. I am pleased. New chapter in 14 days, according to the official website. So it looks like we've got a break next week. All right. Well, I guess I will see you in 2 weeks. For chapter 1114. Next chapter after that, we'll find out if I'm right. And then the one after that, we'll see if I'm right about reaching Elbaf. But for now, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. I had fun. I look forward to the next chapter, as always. I hope that you'll join me again for that. Still haven't managed to get my video editor working well. I may just abandon the live action season 2 video, because that one specifically, every time I try and edit it, my computer just freezes up. But maybe if I just start it, so it could be that video file is corrupted somehow. I don't know. But I am going to try in the next few days to go on and edit other ones I've recorded since the One Piece live action season 2 video. And I'll see how the editing goes with those. And hopefully I will have some content posted. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. So, bear with me. Keep an eye on the channel. And I hope that we'll have some good stuff here soon. Other than that, just thank you again for taking the time to hang out with me. If you do want to help me get a new computer, so I will definitely be able to get stuff done, then hit up my Patreon, make a donation, get a membership. On Patreon, I am StrawhatOtakuDrew. There are links in my actual videos. Not not on the streams, but in the actual videos. I've got links for my Patreon and all that. So if you want to help out, go check that out. Find Anime Otaku Drew on Patreon. It would absolutely be appreciated. And other than that, just thanks for spending the time with me. Anyone watching this later on wanting to share thoughts on the stuff that I've discussed from the chapters, from the chapter, from the episode, any of that, hit up the comments. I'd love to see you down there. Aside from that, I'll just catch you all later. One Piece, homie. Ore wa naru.